host, Viola Edward. Today, talking to you from Cyprus, host of your program, Feminine Capital Rhythm. Today, I'm with my friend, Anjanal, journalist in Cyprus Today newspaper. And we didn't see each other for a while, but always following each other through the social media. Very happy to see you, Anne. How are you?
Thanks, I'm well, thanks. Pleased to be here.
Yes.
Interested.
And Marina will be interacting with us today in the interview. Marina, hi.
Hi, ladies. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We have the chance now to be contaminated with some brilliancy and some amazing ideas by two extraordinary ladies. They are both in Cyprus, and wherever you are in the world, just have pen and paper. There is a lot to learn. Over to you.
Yes, and Marina, I always mention it, but is the creator of the Radio Works and the creator of the BAFTA Author Awards, and much more things coming along. We're gonna do many of those things in Cyprus, and quite happy, Marina, you're with us here. So, Anne, when did you come to Cyprus?
1988.
Why did you come to Cyprus?
I fell in love with the Turkish
two of us. Okay, because the part of the story that is when I met Anne is that I came to Cyprus from Venezuela because I fall in love. And my husband, British, Michael is British, but he was born in Cyprus and his dream was to come back here. So years ago we met Anne, but I was living in a city and he used to have a business further away in the, how do you call that part of the island? The peak of the island, you know?
The peninsula.
The peninsula. And then Anne was living in a tiny village that I could not imagine me living there because already this is very tiny for me. So how did you end there? How did you feel? How was it moving from UK to that village? You were so integrated.
Well, I got accepted straight away because it's traditional for the daughter-in-law to move to the husband's village. So I ended up doing the traditional thing. So they just accepted me straight away, but I didn't speak Turkish. And we both wanted to leave London, family. And we thought, well, why not do it in this place? It's a perfect place.
Mm-hmm.
Which it wasn't in a lot of ways, but it was times quite remote. And we didn't get the internet till, I think, 95. Mobile phones came along and the internet came along, and that's when I started to outside world.
You learned Turkish. You speak Turkish quite well. Yeah.
Well, I had two boys and they went to state school, so I kind of learned with them really.
Yeah, but I remember you quite integrated to that ambiance.
Yeah, we had a business as well in the village.
How did you then connect with the journalism?
That was my escape route.
Because I always like the way how you talk and how you describe the situation. And Michael also is a writer, and when Michael and Anne start speaking, you just want to hear because they have this ability in any simple situation to describe it in such a poetic way. So I knew that she has a good pen. But how is it that come to become a journalist so well known as you are today?
Well, I didn't have many options really. I did a Kiersey profile. I was so confused. I did a Kiersey profile online, and my basic profile said, I think it was caring or journalism, something like that. Media, people contact, it was definitely. And then I saw this part-time job in the newspaper advertised, and I thought, well, yes. And it fell quite well because I was in a remote place which was being developed, where hardly any reporters ever went because it was a bit too far to go. The job now, it's mainly done over the phone. There's a whole dimension missing. I don't really enjoy working like that. I prefer, to be hands-on and meet people. But the speed of the job now, it doesn't allow for it really. Art. Anyway, there I was in prime position, so I just started working for them 3 days a week. I always read newspapers. I studied literature and languages at school, so I suppose I had the aptitude. But you have to learn to write in their way, shorthand, and in their style.
Yeah.
And you get into this style thing where you just write like Cyprus today, because all your work gets corrected, and you just become accustomed to writing that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tabloid, really. You know, it has its style, like all newspapers have their style. And so, because when I started, I was writing like 2,000 words, and a lead story is 500 words, ruthlessly edited. This problem that I couldn't see the wood for the trees, and there's this famous axiom when you're a journalist, and they say, tell your old mum. You get the whole, when you have to explain it to a child or your old mother, what seemed really difficult becomes really easy. It's a really good tactic. If you ever have a problem, if you ever can't see your way through something, just think, imagine your mum sitting there and she's 80 years old. You've got to explain this to her, and then it's clear.
Yeah.
It's quite a good technique.
Yes.
The who, what, where, when to do it, because they didn't think it was important. But in this particular situation in Cyprus, it was one of the main areas of cooperation, where you know, because artists tend to be a bit more global, the way they think.
Yeah, it suits you very well to do this.
Yeah, it was really good, and I just infiltrated their whole, you know, cultural hierarchy, and then they all know me. But the funny thing was that when I arrived in Nicosia, they see you and they think you're a foreigner that arrived yesterday. But I had this 20-year backstory of living in this village, and so they couldn't figure me because I spoke Turkish like a Cypriot, but I was English,
which is a different dialect than the Turkish mainland. Yeah.
And they'd never met me before, so to them I was a newcomer. But I was this weird newcomer that spoke like a local.
Yeah.
So I was one of the first generation. Like in England, we got used to meeting black people speaking with Liverpool accents because they were second or third generation. So they were just Liverpudlians, like anyone else. But the novelty of it, when you first meet people who are obviously foreign but speak like locals, you know, they didn't have that here. Everyone was, you know, even in school, station, army, they were probably educated off islands.
Yeah.
They didn't have that. Yeah, they didn't have that, you see. So I became this novelty to them. As soon as I opened my mouth, they could even tell where I was from in Cyprus from my accent. And it was so strange for them because I was from this place that was just this.
What is the population of Mehmetçik?
It's about 1,500.
This is where Anne lived for many, many, many years. What do you think, Marina?
Wow, I'm fascinated, you know, to have the courage to go to a remote location and learn their language. And another language as you would from a disc, from a course, but from the locals. And still have a feeling that they don't recognize you, they don't figure you out in that way. I think is amazing. I mean, what things in life are still a mystery to you? You got to know them so well, to learn the culture, to understand the mindset. But what things in life are still a mystery to you? And I just wonder.
Oh, lots. Tomorrow, basically. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, they're really nice people. They're very hospitable. I mean, they accepted me completely because of the situation. And I had the same experience in Turkey. Like, I went to Turkey with the kids when they were 7 and 8 with my mother for a week's holiday. And we had the most amazing time because I was a mother with Turkish-speaking children who spoke Turkish. And I looked just like my mum, so it was obvious that I was with my mother. So this is the acceptable way to socialize in Turkey, with your kids and your mum, you know. But if I went out on the street on my own, they had a completely different idea of who I might be. And because I spoke broken Turkish, they thought either I was some kind of prostitute but I was definitely someone that they could approach in an inappropriate way. But when I was out with my mum and the kids, I was completely kosher, if you know what I mean. No one said about me.
But that was all global. And personally, I came from, because my time when I came here, it was 2000. Today is my 14 years in Cyprus. Today, celebrating.
Wow! Congratulations, many ahead.
Of course, but and come, it was another time. Northern Cyprus was so isolated.
Yeah, it was.
While in my time, I arrived 2002, and by 2003, the gate between north and south was opened, and after so many years, people will cross over.
Yeah.
And I never felt, I always felt welcomed, and it was like first Venezuelan. When I passed my passport into the checkpoint, Venezuela, and they will tell me, oh, Venezuela's Miss Universe, and I would say, no, but you know, my mother is Lebanese. I'm mixed, and they will say, okay, like Shakira. So I will feel no escape of being 90, 60, 90, you know. But it was always good fun, good relating, and that what helped me a lot to create my story and my business here. And time changed, Anne, for us both, and
really, yeah,
it has changed. And nowadays, being you a foreigner but mother of Turkish Cypriot, the way how you are accepted and loved in this society is quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, there's 93,000 students here now. Did you know that?
Oh, my God.
So there's a lot of students from Africa, which is a huge difference because it was so monocultural when I came. There was this overriding script that all Turkish Cypriots were Turks, regardless of the fact that they got Crusader blood in them, and Persian, Egyptian, from all the successive invasions.
It was a difficult time.
But they weren't really allowed to discuss that because of the political situation. Then when the borders opened, you could go to this foreign country on the same island where they spoke a different language that you didn't understand, which was Greek, which is really an accessible language to Europeans because of the alphabet, like Russian, you know. And it was just not, I can't say it's that European, but it's definitely more European than this side. So we had this sudden gateway to another world. And people were having the chance to mix and discuss things. And a lot of propaganda myths were debunked then. You know, there was a lot of negative image of the North, which was being sold to the South, that it was full of rabid dogs and rapists and all sorts of scare stories, so people wouldn't come over. And then people were coming over and saying things like, well, I'm in Kyrenia and all I can see is my priest and my teacher have been lying to me, what they told me about this country.
Or a cousin, or imagine when a site is, there is a lot to talk and to write about this. I always encourage Anne to write her book, Marina.
So I was just wondering, Anne, because in one way or the other, each one of us is a migrant woman or a migrant man. We always go not necessarily geographically to a new location, but in life you take this journey from your heart to your mind, and it's the longer journey you ever could start. And I just wonder, what are the things you had to give up to grow into the amazing person you are and become this confident, sophisticated, vibrant woman who, against everything, she knows what she wants. All she doesn't know is tomorrow, what tomorrow brings.
Yeah. What did I give up? Well, I kind of exiled myself, really. I mean, intentionally. And I just went back to basics. I mean, I didn't bring hardly anything with me. And I couldn't get hardly anything when I got here, which I didn't realize it would be so isolated. And I had my kids, you see. Within a year I had my son, and then within another year I had another son. So I was pretty busy. So I sort of rationalized it that anywhere I was in the world, if I had 2 kids in 2 years, that was pretty much going to be my life, wherever I was. So I just made my life around that, really, and building a business, which with my husband. So I was busy. I mean, and I had a lot to learn. I had to learn Turkish. I had to orient myself. You know, I had to learn about bringing up kids as well, which was pretty. I missed my mum in that time. You know, and I had to cope with a lot of superstitions.
So in a way, Anne, Marina, me, at this age and stage of life, we become who we become because of our experiences.
Yeah.
It's like when you ask, and we have to remember the past, how we, like myself, is my fourth country of residence, and what we went through is how we become who we are, these creative, amazing women that we are. And in different areas of life, we can do our job, so connecting with others and doing our best and honoring the humanity in us and everybody else because of these kind of experiences that we went through, and we grow over them. What did you say?
But I mean, you have to remember it was an intentional migration.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't compare it to someone that's forced out of their home country.
Yeah.
You know, it was an intention. I felt forced out of England because I felt completely disillusioned with it. Late 80s, it was Thatcher. There was the Falklands War. It was just grim. There was street riots. There was all kinds of things going on. But so I missed 2 decades of my own country, you know.
Yeah.
And it's amazing now when I go back to see how far they've come along, like the police, for instance, how good they are now.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite inspiring, actually. But I didn't have much faith in it, really, and I didn't really want to be English anymore because the English get it in the neck everywhere for the colonial history and all this, and you know, you feel like you don't really want to be associated with it. So it was kind of deliberately going to be something else.
And you make it. Marina, we're coming to the end of this program. So happy that you join us here. There is much more with Anne. We're inviting Anne to come to the BAFTA Author Awards and be there representing and you know, as a journalist. Hopefully she can make it. And we'll be back to you soon from Cyprus. Anything else, Marina, for us?
Actually, I do have another question, if you don't mind. And I'm so grateful you are here. So, okay. Only one question. Who inspires you? Who influences you? While the children were growing up, you had your hands full, and I understand that very well, having children of my own. And now they perhaps are adult children, and they have their own life. And you are a writer. So who inspires you?
Who mentored me during that time?
No, now who inspires you?
Now who inspires me? Now who inspires me? Well, let me think. Who inspires me? I don't know. Life inspires me, really, and a lot of different individuals, people who set examples. I mean, it could be anybody, really. Like Denise, for instance. She's inspirational. You know,
we're talking about Denise.
Yes.
Who wrote books. And I don't know, Mr. Akinji inspires me actually in Cyprus because he's a really genuine human being. Our leader at the talks, our president, that we call him president. And I don't know really, anybody who, you see inspiration every day, don't you?
Yes.
it can just be someone. It can be the man that works for the council can just inspire you because of who he is, or he says something in a naive way that just touches you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it can be someone who does something really great, like my son's friend cycled across Asia. You know, he's an amazing kid. He's just cycled across. He just decided to cycle across Asia. Anyone who does anything like that, really, or people who just stay true to themselves, which is not easy. And Viola's inspired me constantly. You know, and I have some friends who have really been quite inspirational, like Lois, for instance. People who just don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the setbacks, they just don't give up.
Like you, Marina. They recreate themselves, and in the recreation, they help so many other people.
Yeah.
That's a huge inspiration. You are an inspiration, Marina.
Thank you so much. So for me, life is not about creating or finding, not even about finding yourself. It's not about reinventing yourself. It's more about, like Anne said, accepting your truth, embrace your and endorse your own vision, and deliver the best version of yourself each day. Is not about what other people think of you, is what you think about yourself. I'm so grateful, ladies. I'm so excited. You made my day, and I hope our listeners are having as great inspiration from this as I do. And I can't wait to meet you both. And until next time, because I'm sure it's going to be a next time, is goodbye from all of us.
Goodbye for now. Bye-bye.
Goodbye from Cyprus.
Bye-bye.